Hey guys, it's towniesimbuilds here, and welcome back to our first build tour of the year. Today's build is actually one that you guys voted for in my community tab poll. It is officially our build of the month, and this is in fact the Vintage Theater. Now on a special note, this is actually my very first time building within the world of Magnolia Promenade. I thought I could actually turn this into a full-on entertainment district, starting with this theater that we're going to view today. So without further ado, let's head on over to the world of Magnolia Promenade and check out the build. Alright guys, and here we are with a full view of the lot. As promised, we are in fact in the world of Magnolia Promenade, and for this build I actually bulldozed the older retail lot that came with the Get to Work pack. I figured this area needed a little bit of life. Like I said, I did want to make this a more of an entertainment venue type of world. And as you guys can see from the theater itself, this is done in a Art Deco inspired look. I really wanted to imagine this lot in a world that was similar to 𝗧𝗛𝗡𝗏𝗚, or kind of a New York City, if you will, kind of capturing that old school glam Broadway essence. My favorite part was definitely creating a lot of those geometric structures that you see there. And those are actually all base game. The lights, the columns, and the different textures, I believe, are all from base game. So pretty cool to create. I also used a lot of the base game movie posters. I thought they were fairly fitting. And I combined them with the awnings, I believe, from the Get to Work pack. This area, of course, is the box office area. This is where you'd pick up your ticket. And unfortunately, I didn't have the Get Famous pack, but I did use the rugs from Get Together, trying to emulate those Hollywood stars, if you guys are familiar with those as well. But anyways, we're going to check out the lot in different forms of lighting. We are currently in the night view, I believe. But here we go, we're shifting to the morning view, going to the afternoon, onwards to the evening view, and finally back to the night view, where we will take a look inside. So starting off our tour, we are actually in the basement of the theater, and this was actually a little bit of an afterthought, but I really wanted to create a very rich and detailed backstage area. So this is right downstairs beneath the main stage, and what we're looking at is the backdrop storage area. Now, as a quick note, I did want to include enough objects to make this lot compatible with the museum type. So we do have some easels there, and of course next to them we do have some different props. There's like a large ship, a wishing well, there's a statue from the Vampires pack, and a lot of other clutter there as well. Over here we have the glam station, if you will. So that's where our actors and actresses would get ready. So I tried to scatter different supplies. I think there's like paper towels, perfume, cologne, maybe some fancy nail polish. And of course on the side wall we have the closets from the Get Together pack. So if you want to try on different costumes and get ready, that's definitely the perfect place to do so. Now further back, I also included a little locker room slash bathroom there as well. So we do have all the sinks there, we do have some soap and hand sanitizer, pretty clean and simple. But moving back, we also have more private stalls. So this is a combination of a toilet and shower room. Again, more space for our stars to get ready and clean themselves off. And yeah, pretty simple, but I figured that was pretty consistent with what you'd need if you were an actor or actress. Hopefully all of those amenities make sense. And of course, going on to the other side, it's pretty much the same thing. Usually for bathrooms, I do a male and female bathroom. But in all cases, you're more than welcome to make these spaces gender neutral. Obviously, you just need to change out the door and you are good to go. But like I said, this is pretty much a reflection of the other side. So we do have more bathrooms, and of course, our nice big glam station for everyone to get ready to put on a great show. Heading up to the first floor now, we will enter the main area of the theater. And this is probably where the bulk of the rooms are, and this probably is the area with the most detail. And of course, starting us off is the main box office area. Like I said, this is where you'd essentially pick up your ticket before entering the theater. And each of these rooms is equipped with a desk, computer, and 2 different movie show posters. Now, to be honest with you guys, getting these windows right was really tricky. I believe I used a Get to Work window, and then I combined a base game wall sculpture with a base game shelf. So I think it communicated. I think you get the idea of the little tiny ticket slot. But anyways, moving on inside is the grand main entrance hall. So we do have 2 large staircases leading to the second floor. We do have the main door to the theater room, And of course, we have 2 bathrooms flanking either side. So again, more of those cool base game movie posters there. I did use the sofas from Get to Work. I believe the lamps and the tiles are from the Vampires pack. But anyways, here is the first bathroom. And for some reason, you guys, the bathrooms turned out super narrow in this build. But I think that is just how the space divided out. So each bathroom has 2 sinks, 2 toilets, and 2 mirrors. It's pretty much a reflection of the other side, so I won't bore you guys with all of that. But anyways, moving on inside, this is the first area of seating on the first floor. I did use platforms to create a little bit of that step effect going on there, with some nice lights there down the aisle. This, of course, is the main stage itself. It's pretty full with a lot of different activities. We do have microphones for your Sims, we do have a classical piano, and there are a ton of violins towards the back. I tried to simulate some sort of an orchestra area for you guys. Anyways, over here is the private viewing balcony. Given that this was roughly inspired by an opera theater house, I figured this was appropriate. I figured that if guests wanted to shell out some extra simoleons, this would be a really great place to do so. So again, this balcony is reflected on the other side. And going on over here, we are now entering the backstage area. This is the first floor of the towers that you guys will see on either side. And there are some very interesting details once we get to the upper floors. But heading on back, this of course is the backstage area. Now, this area was a little hard. I'm not an expert on what goes on in the theater, but I did want to include some utilities. I figured there would be some kind of control panel. And I kind of made use of the DJ booths there as well. I think they get the effect across, with controlling music, lights, and other effects. And again, it's another interactive feature for your Sims. Over here, of course, we do have the stairs leading down towards the backstage area that we just explored, along with some more utilities reflected on the other side for your Sims as well. Heading up to the second floor now, we will enter the final seating area of the main theater. But of course, starting off is the main hallway once you get up those flights of large staircases. And originally, to be honest with you guys, this room was pretty barren. I didn't have any decor on the walls, but I thought this could be a really cool exhibit space if you guys do in fact turn this into a museum. So using a lot of the base game photographs, I figured each of them could be perhaps an actor or actress who is very prominent in the theater. And I used the plaques or placards from the Get to Work pack as well. The placards, I guess in my imagination, obviously label who the actor or actress is, along with the different productions that they have been in. Anyways, moving over here, this is of course the balcony area. Like I said, this is the final viewing area of the main theater room, and this also does have a little bit of platform elevation going on, just like the first floor. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have those towers being built up as we explore each floor, and as you can see, we do have some lovely statues from the Vampires pack, and this of course being a view of the first floor from the balcony. Again, there's pretty much a lot of the same details. I did keep a lot of those nice lights, creating the aisle effect going on there, and a lot of the curtains that were used on the first floor as well. Like the first floor, we also have our private balcony viewing area, again with more of those really cozy, comfy sofas or armchairs, if you will, that I do believe are also from base game. On the wall, I also have some different older photographs that are from the Get Together pack as well. Moving on up to the third floor now, we will leave a lot of that seating area behind, but we do have a really cool bar that we will get to very shortly. This of course is the main landing area, and these are the two final staircases leading to the fourth floor. Now, as you guys can see, I did repurpose a lot of those different light fixtures and columns, sort of seen on the outside, but I thought they made a really nice ambience in the main hallway. This, of course, again, like I said, we have more of these super narrow bathrooms, but I thought it was necessary. I didn't want Sims having to run up and down those staircases, so I thought having a bathroom, or a pair of bathrooms rather, was quite helpful on the third floor. As always, you are more than welcome to make them gender neutral in your game. But moving on over here, this is of course the view of the bar itself, and this is the overlook at the main stage. Now at this point you have seen the completed towers that are on either side of the stage, and this is also an area that your Sims can traverse. I figured that if you have performers that would come up and sing, sort of like in a Romeo and Juliet style, those towers are absolutely perfect for that. Over here, this is a full view of the bar, and like I said, you have more of that Art Deco influence going on. I had a lot of fun designing a lot of the interior of this area, mixing a lot of the base game elements with the little touches of the vampire pack, and of course those really cool light sculptures. And as always for our ritzy and rich Sims, again we have more of those wonderful private viewing balconies that are on every floor. Finishing off our tour today is the 4th floor of the build, and this floor is actually wholesomely dedicated to the employees who work within the theater. This of course is the final landing area, so we have the end to all of our staircases, and of course more of those light fixtures seen from the exterior. But moving on towards the left, we do enter the main control room, and this was inspired loosely by a lot of references I've seen online. Given that this is a control room, I did want to have large windows that overlook the stage, and of course a lot of tech that I could fit inside. So we do have 4 computers, we do have some get-to-work objects that sort of resemble a control panel if you use a little bit of imagination. Perhaps they can control sound, lighting, and other effects. And as you guys can see, there is a peek at the catwalks that are outside. Those were originally not part of the build, but I thought they were such an interesting element, and they actually did connect parts of the theater together, which we will see momentarily. But heading on towards the sides, we do also have some office spaces. So I figured these offices could be for the manager, director, and or the owner of the theater themselves. And unfortunately, I don't really know how the hierarchy works within theater culture, but I thought these offices were pretty sleek. They still had a very old money Art Deco feel, and they are actually slightly different from each other. So like I said, we are moving on to the other side now, and I believe I neglected to mention that these offices are actually right above the private viewing balconies. This is the second office space. It's probably one of my favorite spaces in this build. It's a little bit more glamorous with the Hollywood star mirrors and some of the award placards on the wall as well. Again, each of them having a view outside to the main stage area. Now, as promised, we can see the full catwalks. They do have the studio lights and large speakers attached to them. And if you guys exit through the offices, you can actually connect to the towers themselves and go to the very first floor of the stage. So looking at the lot specs as a whole, this is in fact a 40 by 30 lot. It can definitely fit into a variety of Sims 4 worlds fairly easily. The lot type is of course set to a lounge, so if you guys want to bring your Sims, have a nice drink, and enjoy some music and comedy, this is really a great place to do so. Now like I mentioned, this lot can also work as a museum, given that it has all the required objects. Now in terms of packs, we only use 3 packs this time. This build of course incorporates base game, but we also have content from Get to Work, Get Together, and the Vampires pack as well. Alright guys, and that is a wrap on the user voted vintage theater. If you did in fact vote for this option, I really do hope you enjoy how the lot came out and do in fact use it in your game as well. Like I mentioned, I do in fact plan on turning Magnolia Promenade into a full-on entertainment district. So if you guys have ideas for the other lots, if you have maybe a possibility in mind, please feel free to leave your idea in the comments. I definitely review them all the time, and I love hearing all of your thoughts and feedback. And with that said, this has been 𝗧𝗛𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗚 signing off. Thank you so much for watching, guys.